In the digital age, you can rob a bank over the internet from the other side of the world. And in fact, this has resulted in some of the largest bank robberies ever. Not only that, crypto exchanges are a constant target for wannabe thieves. In this video, we'll cover the top 8 biggest cyber heists ever. Oh, and if you like stories like this, you'll love the podcast Darknet Diaries. It goes in depth on some of these stories, and you really should check it out. Number 8, Operation High Roller. 2012. An international network of cyber criminals coordinated a series of bank account robberies. They did it all from far away on their computers. At some point before the thefts began, the criminals gained access to banking networks in Europe, the US, and Latin America by phishing bank employees' credentials. Through this access, the group planted a variety of malware that allowed them to manipulate financial transactions and began looking for high-value accounts, such as big companies and government accounts to target. According to researchers, the criminals didn't focus on any accounts holding less than $1 million, which earned the investigation the name Operation High Roller. Once their targets were picked, hackers used a series of servers in Albania, Russia, and the US to control as many as 10 individual types of malware and approve money transfers at ATM withdrawals and at banks in multiple countries. By switching between servers, attackers were able to avoid detection for quite a while as they manipulated high-capacity bank accounts. While security researchers at McAfee found the group attempted to transfer and withdraw as much as $2.5 billion, they only got away with $80 million in cash through wire transfers and ATM withdrawals. To this day, no arrests have been made following the attacks, despite it being one of the most lucrative bank robberies ever pulled off. Number 7, the Bangladesh bank heist. April 2016, Bangladesh. Criminals pulled off a massive bank robbery by infiltrating the network of the Central Bank of Bangladesh. To get the money, attackers phished bank employees and planted highly specific malware designed just for the SWIFT banking protocol. This is the communication platform used by thousands of banks around the world to approve transfers between financial institutions. Ultimately, the attackers accessed computers that were authorized to make large bank transfers, and they initiated multiple transfers draining the money which belonged to the Bangladesh bank itself. The robbery required more than just hackers, though. People involved with the heist opened bank accounts around the world for the money to be transferred to. The theory was if they transferred all of this to one account and that one transfer failed, then the whole operation would fail. So the heist was broken up into multiple smaller transfers into other bank accounts controlled by the thieves. Then people who owned those accounts would withdraw the money. In total, they attempted to transfer $951 million. Almost $1 billion were stolen. But due to some errors and typos, not all the money made it into the thieves' accounts. Only $81 million was stolen, which is still a lot. The thieves quickly transferred that money from their bank account to a casino, and once at the casino, they gambled for a short while as a way to launder the money, and then they cashed out their chips and left. After the heist, researchers connected this to the well-known North Korean Lazarus Group, a group of military-trained hackers that work for the North Korean government. And it appears they got away with it. The US has indicted Park Jin-hyuk as being responsible for this, but no arrests have been made, and it's likely none ever will. Number 6, the BITGRAIL bug. February 2018, Italy. A crypto exchange called BITGRAIL claimed it was attacked and suffered a major loss of a certain cryptocurrency. A leaked chat gives us clues as to what happened. Supposedly there was a bug in the blockchain or this exchange, and they found a user sending the nano cryptocurrency from one wallet to another, which is normal, but the transfer was exploiting the bug, and instead of the money transferring into the wallet as it should, twice as much of what was sent was arriving in the wallet. What's worse is that the amount on the blockchain did not show that twice as much was received, so whoever was exploiting this bug was doing it under the radar. But BITGRAIL saw some anomalies, and as soon as they figured out what was going on, they shut down all nano transactions and reported the loss to the police. But the damage was already done. The attacker was able to generate and withdraw 17 million nano coins to an outside wallet, which was worth $175 million at the time. Because BITGRAIL lost that much money, it caused them to shut down, perhaps forever. They were not transparent about the details of this incident, which leaves it open to speculation about what really went on there. some even suggesting that this might have been an exit scam. It's been 3 years now, and the site still has not come back up. Few details are actually known, but when $175 million is stolen in cryptocurrency, it makes this one of the largest heists in history. Number 5. KUCOIN, September 2020, Seychelles. This attack focused on a popular crypto exchange called KUCOIN, who claims to have over 8 million users. Somehow, somewhere, the private key to their hot wallet was leaked. See, crypto exchanges have a hot and cold wallet to keep their users' money in. Think of the hot wallet like a cash register inside a store. You only need enough for a day to be in there, and you should sweep out any extra whenever you have a chance and put that in a bank vault or a cold storage account. Well, early in the morning of September 26, 2020, KUCOIN's team received an alert from their risk management system. When their security team looked into it, they noticed suspicious activity of some of the exchange's hot wallets used for handling transactions. The team immediately shut down the servers, but still saw some transactions happening from their accounts to wallets outside the exchange. Over the next several minutes, KUCOIN security watched as someone transferred large numbers of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other cryptocurrencies to several accounts outside their exchange. Once crypto coins are transferred to another wallet, there's no way to undo it and get your money back. It's gone forever. But the KUCOIN team was able to take control of their wallets before the thieves could empty them completely. The thieves were able to take $275 million worth of cryptocurrencies from KUCOIN. But surprisingly enough, KUCOIN did not go out of business from this. They fixed the problem and came back online shortly after. An investigation by a company called Chain Analysis found evidence that the thieves were from North Korea, and it was the Lazarus Group again, the same hacking team that robbed the Bangladesh bank. The exchange was able to minimize the damage and protect its users from the impacts, but if it was the Lazarus Group, it remained safe and protected inside the secluded North Korea. Number 4. Mt. Gox. February 2014, Tokyo. Mt. Gox, the leader in Bitcoin exchanges at the time, files for bankruptcy protection. It somehow lost its users' money. Mt. Gox was a Bitcoin exchange ran by Mark Karpeles in the early 2010s. In fact, it was one of the first Bitcoin exchanges. And I say Bitcoin exchange and not crypto exchange because Bitcoin was the only cryptocurrency back then, and that's all they traded. So when this newfangled digital money showed up, it attracted a lot of thieves. It still does attract a lot of thieves. So Mt. Gox faced constant web attacks, database attacks, attempted wallet snatching, and so much more. On top of that, Mark Karpeles was trying to run the whole site by himself, and he made a lot of mistakes along the way. Mt. Gox suffered a series of Bitcoin thefts while it was up. One of the first big losses was when someone hacked into Mark's personal computer and found a Bitcoin wallet there with 300,000 of Mt. Gox's Bitcoin in it. The thief was able to steal all 300,000 Bitcoins. But that thief got nervous and returned 99% of the Bitcoins back to Mark, keeping 3,000 for themselves. There was another attack when someone hacked into the database of Mt. Gox and was able to steal 80,000 Bitcoin. But the biggest theft at Mt. Gox was when someone got into the network and found the hot wallet for the site and was able to siphon off any Bitcoin coming into this wallet. This lasted for months in 2013. And by the time Mark saw what was going on, the thief had already taken over 500,000 Bitcoins. This ultimately caused the site to fold up and go under, which meant that the users who thought they had Bitcoin on the site were no longer to get into their accounts on Mt. Gox and get their money back. In total, there were over 750,000 Bitcoins stolen from Mt. Gox while it was up. That's 7% of all the Bitcoin in circulation at the time, which was worth about $450 million US. Number 3, COINCHECK. January 2018, Tokyo, Japan. COINCHECK, one of the world's leading cryptocurrency exchanges at the time, was targeted in what would be one of the world's largest cyber heists. COINCHECK was founded in 2014. Over the years, the platform grew to become one of the leading exchanges for a variety of cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, and NEM. 4 years after its founding, users of the exchange got suspicious when COINCHECK suddenly suspended deposits and withdrawals of NEM cryptocurrency. Rumors began to circulate that the exchange had been hacked. but the owners assured users that they hadn't noticed any technical issues at the exchange. But a short time later, on January 26, COINCHECK's president and CEO, along with the company's COO, held a press conference and announced that approximately 500 million NEM had been stolen from COINCHECK and transferred to wallets outside the exchange. And how much was one NEM worth at the time? About $1. So in total, the thieves made off with over $500 million worth of cryptocurrency. Well, the company never disclosed exactly how it happened. What we do know is that the attackers somehow accessed the exchange's hot wallet and were able to take millions of NEM tokens out of it. In their announcement about the attack, the CEO admitted that the exchange failed to use multi-signature authentication, a security measure they touted as a cornerstone of their platform's safety features. This, combined with a lack of regulatory oversight, is what made the attack possible. So, who stole this $530 million worth of NEM? A report by the IB Group says it was done by, yeah, you guessed it, the Lazarus Group in North Korea. The North Korean government has been blamed for stealing almost $2 billion from banks and crypto exchanges in recent years. And as far as I know, the North Korean government is the only government in the world that hacks for financial gain. Number 2, the Poly Network Heist. August 2021. A hacker exploited the Poly network and stole over $600 million worth of crypto coins, which, by the way, should not be confused with the Polygon Matic coin. That's a different thing altogether. If you're not up on all the newest tech involved with cryptocurrencies, it's okay, because things are updating and innovating so fast that nobody can keep up with it all. What the Poly network does is it provides interoperability between two different blockchains. Some of these blockchains have what's called smart contracts on them, which allows you to put little pieces of code that executes when money is sent somewhere. And this code can tell the Poly network to do certain things like exchange one coin for another without the need of a full-blown exchange. Well, this hacker was able to inject their own code, which allowed them to convince the Poly network to send the hacker tons of money. This is one of the inherent problems with innovation in the cryptocurrency space. There are so many different currencies, exchanges, DeFi networks, and technologies involved, and they're all developing with new functionalities at such an alarming rate that, yeah, some of this stuff isn't tested all the way and has vulnerabilities. This hacker found a major vulnerability in the Poly network. They were able to basically reroute money to their own account. And by doing this, they were able to steal $270 million worth of Ethereum, $230 million worth of Binance Smart Chain tokens, $83 million worth of Polygon Matic coins, and some other coins too. Now, it sounds like this was just done by one single person or a small group, and not some sophisticated cybercriminal gang or a nation-state actor. And this person obviously knows a lot about cryptocurrencies and could probably figure out a very clever way to cash out on it all and live large for the rest of their life. But in a strange twist of this story, they actually decided to pay the money back. It sounds like they just tried to do this for fun and was surprised when it worked, but didn't actually want to steal people's money. And yeah, as of today, this hacker has, on their own accord, returned all of the $600 million to the rightful owners. The Poly network has offered a $500,000 reward to this hacker as sort of a bug bounty award for showing them this huge flaw. On top of that, they invited the hacker to be their chief security advisor to help them in the future. And so far, it doesn't look like Mr. White Hat Hacker has taken any of the $500,000 or the job, and I doubt they will, since they like staying anonymous. And who knows, maybe an offer like that is just bait to catch the thief. Number 1, CARBANAK. August 2013. Authorities in several countries started to catch on to caching rings, or bands of people who would go to ATMs and withdraw cash on behalf of cybercriminals who had transferred money to various accounts. What they uncovered was ultimately the most successful bank robbery recorded to date. In 2013, the cybersecurity firm Kaspersky released a report about the attack. In it, they said attackers injected malware into financial institutions around the world, mostly through spear phishing emails sent to low-level bank employees. This malware, which is called CARBANAK, exploited a Windows vulnerability, and it allowed attackers to get into the bank transfer software and move money around as they wished. Once there, they were able to manipulate ATMs to dispense cash, And this was so well coordinated that the person who would go to pick up the cash at the ATM didn't even have to touch the ATM. As soon as they'd arrive, the money would just start spinning out of the ATM until it was empty. Over the course of 2 years, the cyber criminals gained access to many banks and coordinated with a team of cashiers to get a lot of money withdrawn. Investigators tracked the first CARBANAK infection to August of 2013 and found the height of the attacks to have taken place during the summer of 2014. While the malware affected banks and institutions across the world, most of the victims are reported to be from China, Germany, Russia, and the US. One of the reasons CARBANAK was so successful was the fact that it targeted institutions themselves rather than individual customers. This allowed the attackers more access to larger sums of money and avoided setting off fraud triggers meant to capture suspicious activity in individual accounts. That, combined with a highly organized team carrying out the operation, made this heist the most lucrative hack ever reported. It's hard to say how much they took since so many banks were targeted by this, but it's estimated that these thieves got away with $900 million. For the most part, it looks like whoever was behind this did not get caught. There have been a few arrests, but it looks like low-level players in this operation and not the mastermind or organizers behind it all. Okay, that does it for the top cyber heists, but you might be wondering, what about exit scams? Yeah, you're right. I think exit scams just deserves its own video though, because I consider those internal attacks. So that's what I plan to do for the next video. So make sure you click subscribe so you can be the first to know when that video comes out. And if you'd like to know more about these cyber heists, check out the podcast Darknet Diaries. In that show, I went in depth on CARBANAK, Mt. Gox, and the Bangladesh bank heist, and the details of those stories will surprise you. I even interviewed someone from North Korea to learn more. You'll find that show on any podcast player on the planet or at darknetdiaries.com.